Okay, from the top.
All right. Good morning and welcome to Autism Live, where we are having extreme technical issues this morning. So we're a little bit late getting started and we had a little false start there, but we're here. We didn't get to play our opening montage, but who has time for that? We're already halfway into the show here. So I'm Shannon Penrod. I'm coming to you live from a back room in my house and thrilled to be here with you because there was a shaky moment there where we weren't sure we were going to get on live this morning. But we're here and we're not going away if we can possibly help it. And we've got a great show for you. I've got a great guest for you that's been on the show before, but it's been a while. I'm talking, of course, about Swathi. Swathi is one of the most amazing moms that there is in the world. She is the mom of Siri, Designs by Siri, and she's going to be with us in just a little while talking about her radio show, first of all, but also Designs by Siri, what that is and why they started that and how that runs and what's new with Siri, because a lot has been going on. If you have a child that is an adult now or will one day be an adult, which is everybody, right? You will definitely want to stay tuned for that. So there are lots of different ways to watch us. And I think that we're live on all of them right now, although it was a little hit and miss this morning. But probably you're watching us on Facebook, on YouTube, on Periscope or Twitter if you're watching us live. If you'd like to watch us later on, recorded to look back on how we started the show with this kerfuffle, you know, what's more fun than that? You can watch us on iTunes and you can also listen to us on iTunes. You can listen to the drama on iHeartRadio, Deezer, or I'm forgetting one, Spotify. I always forget Spotify, and it's not like I don't love Spotify. So what's up about that? But we are also always on our homepage, autism-live.com. And we figured out what the problem was with the live feature. So you can be writing in your questions to the live feature right now, if you'd like to do that, autism-live.com. So I'm excited to be here with you guys and talking with you. I always like to tell you that we have many experts that are on the show, but gosh, I'm not one of them. I am a mom, a very proud mom of a young man who was diagnosed with autism at the age of 2.5. Very proud of him. He's now 17 and he's doing remarkably well. Thank you. And thanks to all the great services and support that he got. My son had the best of quality ABA therapy at the right amount for the right amount of time. And for him, because it's not a one size fits all, he was 3 when he started his services. He got 40 hours a week in that first year. And then we sort of titrated down to, in his 5th year, he got 8 hours. And then we were done with structured intensive ABA. But he continued to have support. He does not need support anymore at the age of 17. He's getting ready to apply to colleges. So how cool is that? And how lucky am I? So that's why I'm here, to help you to get as lucky as you need to get. And when I say to you, I'm talking to that larger autism community, which starts with, of course, individuals who are on the autism spectrum. They are the core. They're the reason why we do all the things that we do, right? And we include them, of course. In fact, they're including us. It's the other way around, right? They're including us. But here on the show, not only do we start with that group of people, but we include everyone who loves them, because I'm in that category as a parent, but you might be in that category as a teacher or a spouse or a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a cousin. If you love somebody who's on the autism spectrum, I'm glad that you're here, because we want to help you and the individuals who are on the autism spectrum to get to the progress that everybody deserves, right? We may not agree on much, but we all agree that people on the autism spectrum deserve to have a voice in whatever way is appropriate and right for them. And we agree that they should have the right to employment, to housing, to services, right? Whatever they need to help them to get to do the things that they want to do in life. So we start there, and then we sort of tear it down into like, how do we make food appear on the table while we're looking for those resources? How do we keep inspired, right? Our whole mission here is to provide information and inspiration, but it's not one size fits all. So we look forward to you guys writing in. And I mentioned the different ways that you could watch. Those are all the ways that you can write in as well, in addition to that live feature on our website, autism-live.com. So feel free to write in. We look forward to, that's our favorite part, is the interaction with you guys. That's the cool part. And now I'm going to have the hiccups and burps. Excuse me. But thrilled to be here. Now, on Tuesdays, we like to start the show with something we fondly refer to as the jargon of the day. But with our technical difficulties, I am not 100% sure that we are able to bring that to you today. Draven, I'm going with you. Do we have jargon of the day today? If we do, go ahead and start that. When we do jargon of the day, the purpose of it is, jargon can be so overwhelming. And if you are new to the autism community and you don't have a degree in psychology, it can overwhelm you. So we try to take one word at a time. We give you the actual definition, then we give you the working definition, and we try to make fun of the actual definition, but I'm sure that the working definition makes the experts break out into hives. That's just an extra added bonus. Not that we want to torture the experts, but turnabout is fair play. They give us these terms and expect for us to know them, and we're like, huh, what, huh? But the truth of the matter is that when we can start to learn these terms, they're very enlightening, right? Because it's something that's so specific, and you learn something and you go, oh, okay. And then it just makes it easier to communicate when we know these terms. But it looks like we're probably not going to get to do jargon of the day. I stalled for you, Traven, but I'm not seeing anything. But what we were talking about this week is play. And if I'm not mistaken, that our jargon term for today was about symbolic play. And so I'm going to talk just a little bit about that. If we get an opportunity to bring it up, great. And if we don't, we don't. But yesterday we talked about functional pretend play. And I was talking about how there's different kinds of play. And when we understand what the progression is and what the different kinds of play are, then we can be more effective playing with the kiddos in our lives, and understanding how to help them when there's something that they don't know how to do. So functional pretend play was the part where we were using toys, like, plastic and fabric toys to represent, for instance, a vacuum cleaner. We have a plastic vacuum cleaner, and we play with the vacuum cleaner just like we would, where, I'm doing the motion here, of how we vacuum, right? And that's great because we're imitating, and imitation is great. But then we want to take play to the next level. We want to do symbolic play. And when we do symbolic play, we're playing with an object, but we're endowing it with characteristics that it doesn't really have. So we're upping the ante on the pretend here. So for instance, I've got my lotion here, and this can become a microphone. Now, it is not a microphone, but I can pretend that it is, and I can use it like a microphone, and now I'm doing symbolic play. And this is a really important threshold to crest for everybody, because this, saying that this is a microphone, opens up a world for me of possibilities. It's going to work on the flexibility of the brain, but it's also going to free me from these tight rules about what things can be. One of the things we love about our kiddos on the autism spectrum is they're very rule oriented, right? They're like, well, this is this, and that's what it is. So a tea kettle is a tea kettle. It is not a hat, right? But when we make a tea kettle a hat and we behave like it's a hat, what we do is we open up the possibilities of, oh, it's okay to pretend. It's okay to be imaginative. It's okay to use things in a different way. It's okay to be silly. And think about every great thing that ever has happened in life. Like, let's just go Disneyland, right? If Walt Disney hadn't been willing to see things in a different way, we wouldn't have all that joy. So being able to start early and young with kiddos on the spectrum and use something as something that it's not, great. Symbolic play. So a lot of times parents will say to me, well, I don't really know, how to communicate with my child. I want to get in. I want to like have this conversation with my kiddo. I want to know what they're thinking. I want to know what's going on with them. Well, you got to connect first. And everybody always thinks that the connection is going to be this big woohoo moment, right? But the truth of the matter is the connection comes in the little moments between things, right? Because this is one of the like I'm missing Disneyland this week, right? You know, when you go to Disneyland, for me, it's not about the rides. It's not because I don't ride the rides. But when I take my son and my grandnieces and we go to Disneyland, for me, it's about the things in between. While you're waiting for everybody else to go to the bathroom, what do you do with that moment? Just like when you're at the grocery store and, you know, there's a lot of, you know, picking the groceries and doing whatever, but then there's that moment when you're having to stand and wait in line. And a lot of people think that that's just a moment to get through, but that's the moment when you can make a connection with the child. And it can be as simple as, you know, my big famous entree whenever I'm standing in line and there's kids in line and they're bored and I can tell that they're bored, I directly go to fish lips. It's the thing in my back pocket, but I immediately, well, you know, first I see, you know, what is the kid looking at, right? These are not my kids, these are other people's kids, right? But my son knows this about me. So if there's a kid in a shopping cart and they're looking at me, and a lot of times they look at me and my husband because kids look at us and they go, is that Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus? Doesn't matter if it's July 7th, they're still looking at us and going, is that Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus, right? So we tend to attract a little bit of attention. And I will go to fish lips, which is when I go, and kids go, what is like, and these are all types of kids, right? But they look at that and they go, that's not what we do in line at the grocery store, right? So now I've got their attention. And now I'll start to play with fish lips. So, and then sometimes I'll go into peekaboo, and I will do this even with older children who are like, what are you doing? Nobody plays peekaboo with me anymore, right? But people are not supposed to play in the grocery aisle because I'm trying to connect. Why? Because I'm bored and they're bored. So that's if it's other people's children. But when it's your child, there's a world of things that you can do then. So, you know, you can take out the pen in your purse and interview your child and say, we're here in the shopping line, you know, with Channel 7 News. And right now we're talking to Rebecca. Rebecca, what are you buying today? And, you know, and kids are like, what are you doing? But I tell you, you got to model this kind of behavior for your kiddos because they don't know, they don't come in, even neurotypical kids don't come into the world knowing, oh, okay, I can play in whatever way I want to. Right? We have to gift them with the gift of how to play. And why do we even care about that? Because eventually they're going to be sitting in a math class at some point and they're going to say, okay, now we're going to look at this in a different way. And you don't want your kids to be like, no, I can't do that, won't do that, won't do that, right? Or whether they're in English class and they're talking about something, or in life when, you know, they have a problem and they need a hammer and they don't have a hammer. And they start looking around and going, okay, what would, oh, I guess the, you know, the bottom of my boot could work as a hammer. We want them to be thinking. I do think, you know, people talk all the time about this generation of kids and how they're I don't like to say this, I don't like to further this rumor, but how this generation of kids is different. And I will say that part of it is that they didn't go through as much of this play. It was given to them on a screen. So we need to give this to our kids. We need to give them imaginative play. And we get to imaginative play, which we'll do on Thursday, by doing functional pretend play and then doing symbolic play. So, hey, we got some people who are saying good morning. So let's say good morning to Christina. I feel like romper room again. And Blessy and Tammy and Nasser and Nadine and Sirwa. Wonderful. We have a couple of different people who are here who are providers for other places, and that is spectacular. And we welcome you here, and we all love to learn from everybody. So thank you guys so much for being here. I don't remember what the question of the day was, but I do remember what the topic of the week is. And the topic this week is using leisure activities to lower stress. And that's why we're talking about play. if I am able to play and entertain myself, regardless of whether there are toys, right? If I'm able to pick up a microphone and start singing, right, and pretend that I'm on American Idol, then oh, now we're going to have the jargon. Sure, now. Then I am able to be, oh, is that what it was? What was your favorite toy? I but I'm able to lower my stress and I'm able to meter my stress. Think about what you do with your free time. And if somebody doesn't have a leisure activity, then, you know, they're more likely going to be stressed. So we really want to be finding not just one leisure activity. And a lot of you will write in and say, I have a teenager and they only do one thing and they're playing one video game and that's it. And it doesn't matter how much you love that video game, there gets to a point where it's like, I don't want to play this anymore. I'm done. I don't want to play this anymore. I need something else. So we want to make sure that the leisure activities are varied enough that somebody doesn't get bored. And this is true for us, it's true for our kids, it's true for everybody. So we got to start to look at, first of all, what, my question apparently was, what was your favorite toy as a child? Like, what was the toy that you absolutely loved? And can I tell you my favorite toy as a child? And I've talked about this before on the show. My dad, for my 10th birthday, brought me a dollhouse. I'd always wanted a dollhouse, and 10 is a little bit old for a dollhouse. But I loved this dollhouse, and it was called the Imagination Dollhouse. It didn't have any walls. It had these translucent, different colored plastic sheets that you could connect to make this very modern 60s, well, that would have been in the 70s at that point. This dollhouse that had no walls, and you could make it into different shapes. You could make it like a high rise, or you could make it have different levels, and there were staircases, and I loved that thing because I could be as creative as I wanted to. And I can remember my mother saying to me, well, you put the living room on the ground floor and you put the kitchen on the top floor. That's not very practical. You can't do that. And I was like, why can't you do that? And she was like, well, because you have to run the pipes up further. And it made her think about it, because her whole life, she had been told, you should have the kitchen on the ground floor. And then I pointed out to her that in our house, the kitchen was on the second floor. And she was like, oh, like she never really thought about it before. She was like, you're right. Our kitchen is on the second floor. And so I loved that dollhouse because it allowed me to make the house how I wanted it to be with no constraints. So what was your favorite toy growing up? And think about it. How did that translate to who you are as an adult? And I can see that, part of what I love about this interaction is I don't have a whole lot of constraints on me. If I say, oh, we don't want to do jargon today, there's nobody standing over me and saying, you can't do that today, Shannon. I like to drive my own bus. I like to, put the pieces together how I want to put them together. And I'm not really interested in everybody else's rules. I want to know what the rules are so that I know what I'm breaking when I break them. I don't know how you guys feel about that. So what was your favorite toy? And think about then, if you have a kiddo on the spectrum, what's their favorite toy? And does that inform you at all? Okay, somebody wrote in, hi, Swathi. Swathi's going to be joining us in just a second. Hi, Liz. Hi, Callie. Liz says, thanks for all your info. This is awesome. A real life person talking about all the great things about autism. I have an 11-year-old son with autism, and he is amazing. And I am 100% sure that he is. And don't let anybody tell anybody any different, right? Our kids are amazing. Do they have challenges with some things? Yes. Can we help them with those challenges? Yes. But I have challenges with things. I don't know about you. Don't you have challenges with things? I don't buy into this whole everybody has to learn the same, be the same, do the same. My favorite book growing up was A Wrinkle in Time. And there's the part in A Wrinkle in Time where all the kids bounce the ball at the exact same moment so that they can be all alike. And later on, when I became a teacher, and there was the No Child Left Behind Act. And I was like, this is great because no child should be left behind. And then when they unveiled what they wanted it to be was that every single teacher would teach every single thing exactly the same way on the same day. And the principal said, I want to be able to walk down the hallway and I want to have all of the teachers turning the page on the book on the same day. And I was like, peace out, I'm going to go find a different way to educate because I don't want to be a part of that. Teachers who are amazing, you know, the teachers who like bring in a boat and get the kids in the boat and say, we're going to do the crossing the Delaware, they're not turning the page on the same day as everybody else, right? Brings us right back to our symbolic play, which because we're getting to imaginative play. Let's all use what we've got, right? And our kids have amazing, amazing brains. We just have to take out some of the obstacles that are stopping them from being able to do the things that they want to do. But our kids are fabulous. Fabulous. Okay. So we've gotten through jargon. I just look at the time. It is time. Our guest today is, I think, one of the most amazing moms out there. I kind of want to be her when I grow up because she's amazing, absolutely amazing, and does so many different things. She's an inspiration to me. Swathi is going to be joining us right now. If we can activate that, Traven. And Swathi, you want to turn on your camera and Swathi, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Can you activate your camera so that we can see you?
Can you?
We can see you. You look fabulous. Thank you so much for being here. And I don't say your last name because I don't want to slaughter it. And I don't know that you, because a lot of times, you know, on your radio show and stuff, I don't know that you like to say your name. But if you'd like to say your whole name, it's entirely up to you.
I have no problem with it. Swathi Chetipalli.
Okay, and you can see why I did not take that on. It's beautiful, but my mouth would take 6 months to be able to say it properly. But I was just saying, Swathi, and I mean this in all sincerity.
No.
I think you are one of the most amazing moms that I know. You have been running the long race, the marathon race, and you've done such an amazing job. You also host an amazing radio show, and you saw that your daughter, as she was coming into adulthood, that you wanted more for her. And so I want to talk about what happened with that, but let's talk about first the radio show. Tell them about your radio show and where it plays and how often it plays and all those good things.
Sure. Thank you for having me on your show. And I think this is the third time or fourth time I'm here. And thank you so much for the opportunity. I started an autism awareness radio show on Telugu1radio.com. It reaches throughout the world. It's done in my South Indian Telugu language, and we are able to bring in the awareness about autism. People are able to now put the diagnosis with the behaviors, because there are a lot of families that don't understand what autism is all about. So it's going really great. It's Telugu1radio.com, every Monday, 3 p.m. PST.
Okay, fabulous. Excuse me. And you have a wide variety of people on your show, and it's absolutely amazing. Now, if people don't listen to it live, is there a place that they can listen to it recorded, Swathi?
Yes, they can. They can go to my Facebook page, which is Autism Awareness Radio Show, and we have archived there.
Okay. And then let's talk a little bit about Designs by Siri. So you have this amazing, beautiful daughter, Siri, who's absolutely delightful. And at what point did you realize I got to have something more for her to do? I don't want her to just sit here. And how old was she when you started that? And I'm going to mute because I got a cough.
No problem. So she was 22 years old, at which point we were getting done with the school system. She's not very verbal to go and do a job outside, and she's not a type of person that would like to sit and watch TV all day. So we could not find anything in between. So she stayed at home for 6 long months, and that's when I trained her to make care packages for the soldiers. One of my sons went into army. So that's when we actually connected. Siri connected with me, and we spoke the language of making care packages. And soon after that, we came to know that she has these fine motor skills and she makes jewelry. We have a YouTube channel for her, Designs by Siri. People can actually see what she's doing and how she does it.
And she is absolutely amazing. But I want to point out to all the parents, and I'm sorry, I have this tickle in my throat. I want to point out to all the parents that it wasn't like, somebody knocked on your door and said, hi, I would, would you like to start making care packages with your daughter? And here are the instructions, and here's how you should do it. And oh, by the way, on day 32, when you discover she has fine motor skills, you should try jewelry making. You like had to do trial and error and say, we've got to do something. And what's in my heart that, since my son is, a member of the armed forces, let's do something positive. And I just want people to hear that, because sometimes we think that it's going to arrive. Somebody's going to knock on the door and go, here's the plan. Mm-hmm. And, since it's not one size fits all, it doesn't always go that way. But were you nervous when you started making the care packages with her? Talk a little bit about that, Swathi.
I was so nervous to have her at home because I had no idea what to do with her, because she never communicated. She never wanted to be in the same room with me. So my fear was, how do I take her from day 1 to day 2? And we had nothing in place. But that's when the first thing I had her do was to make a list of things that we are going to purchase. And on the other side, the stores that we will be going to, which means she had a clear picture that these are the things we are going to pick up from the stores, and these are the stores that we are going to. That's when she actually connected with me. I still remember the look she gave me that particular day. Like, oh, I know what you're going to do with me, So that's when I got her attention. It was 100% attention. And I didn't know what to do because I was so excited. She's 22 years old. We never connected. And there she was, undivided attention. So yeah, that's how I got to have her do the jewelry.
So that was the beginning. And now Designs by Siri, you guys have designed jewelry that's been on all kinds of people. It's absolutely gorgeous. And there have been opportunities from time to time for you to bring in other people to work on the jewelry. And so so there's a YouTube channel, but where can people purchase the Designs by Siri jewelry?
It's all designsbysiri.com. But I want to share a little bit of jewelry is not the thing that I want to talk about. Right now, she has 6 things that she is doing now from the last time I came on your show. She does functional fitness exercise. She does boxing. She does ice skating. She does horse riding. She does fitness dancing. And she's working at Goodwill. These are all the things that she's doing. And right now she's working on masks. She made like 145 masks to donate. But she has 100 masks to sell now. Somebody gave us an order. So I don't know when she'll finish, but yeah, we are very excited. So that's amazing. Actually took her into all these other things, which was not there at all before.
And I gotta say, if people follow you on Facebook, because I'm always talking here about being, inspirational and information, your Facebook always inspires me, because on a daily basis, I see what you are doing with Siri. And if you're lost, you guys, and you just want to see like somebody who's doing an amazing job, watch what Swathi's doing with Siri, because I'll look at my Facebook and there will be Swathi, but Siri will be doing her functional fitness. And I was so impressed with that and inspired by that. We had her trainer on the show. I don't know if you probably know that. Because I just was like, this is incredible. And it's amazing to see how willing she is. Like that inspires me to get on my elliptical, because I'm like, look, if Siri can do this and be as excited to do it, then I need to do this too. That's been amazing. But also to see, you'll show videos of her working at the Salvation Army. You'll show her, she's very good with her hands. So even a video of you showing her cut up a watermelon, I could watch that all afternoon. Do you know? I mean, it's amazing. But I think what's remarkable, Swathi, is you didn't let her just sit there. You gave her something to do, and then you've given her leisure activities, and you've given her hobbies. And in all reality, would she have come to any of that on her own?
I don't think so. You want to hear the exciting part?
Yes, tell us.
We had tapered all her medications now. All anxiety medications are tapered now, and we are completely off the medications. Ever since we started all these activities, she's losing tons of weight. She's very calm. She's very happy at home. And we are planning to, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just going to say, can you imagine how bored she must have been before all this? And now her life is full.
It is. And the exciting thing is that we are planning for her transition from home. We are working on a community, and we are very, very extremely excited about it. And few years ago, my fear was, how do I take care of her, when she's home? And right now she's just ready to go and live by herself in a place where we have other individuals like her.
Mm-hmm. And I've watched you for a couple of years go through this process, and you, all the time, you were asking everybody, what do I need to do to get her ready? Who do I need to talk to? Like, you were always asking questions, and then you were doing. Sometimes people don't ask the question, but sometimes people ask the question and they keep asking the question and they never get to the doing. You would ask the question and jump right to the doing. I've watched you do that for years. And now you're finally here, but there must be some sense of accomplishment in that, but it's got to be hard too, because you and Siri have been doing everything together now for a couple of years. How do you feel about letting her live someplace else now?
It is very difficult, but I don't want to be selfish. I want to see her happy and thriving away from me. I want to see her from a distance. But I am so proud of her. She made such a huge improvement that she's actually fine. If we move her today, she'll be fine. But then everything is going to be so exciting for her. She will never have a boring day. And it's only right here in Cloverdale, California. So,
So you'll get to see her on a regular basis.
Of course. And I think we will move there, but come back and forth because I have 2 more sons to take care of.
And your sons are incredible people too. In fact, your whole family is pretty incredible.
Thank you.
You've got an amazing husband who, it seems like, because he retired not that long ago, but it seems like he might be busier in retirement. Is this true?
Yes.
Because your husband is a doctor.
Yes.
And emergency room doctor, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he is. And right now he is involved in AI. So I'm pushing him to do something for autism. Let's see what happens. But yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I know a couple of people who retired just before this pandemic, and it's a bad time to retire because you get called back up. That you got to go to work. But you've got these amazing sons too.
Yes.
You have done a remarkable job.
Thank you.
And you're someone that, like, anybody who's looking for inspiration to figure out, like, how can I do this, and how can I not settle for my child, I would encourage you to sign up and take a look on Swathi's Facebook. Look on YouTube for Designs by Siri to find out more. What do you think is going to be next, Swathi? When you envision the future and you envision Siri living where she's going to be living, what are you going to do with all of the hours that you used to devote to Siri?
My thing is that I don't feel that I'm successful until I help other kids. Helping your own kid is natural. But my motivation and my focus is to help the people that are going to live with Siri, 24 individuals. So I already started working on that. And my dream is I want the community to be known for the talent the residents have, not their disability. And
Right.
one thing I always think about Siri, the way I get encouragement is I'm the only one that can make it happen. I approach 100 people or I ask for suggestions, and I don't get it just like that, but that doesn't stop me. I keep going because I want the same thing for the other residents also. That's my goal.
Yeah. And that's why you're such an inspiration to me and to so many people, because
Okay.
you know, the truth is somebody is watching this today who has an adult child and they're feeling
Yes.
lost and they're feeling like, I don't know what to do. What advice would you give to them?
Focus on what your kid can do. Everybody can do something or the other. See how you can connect with them. Don't give up. Every kid has something to offer to the world, and be happy for them. Even if they cannot do the first time, encourage them. Let them know how proud you are of them. And Siri didn't just arrive like this. She had severe behaviors before, but a little bit at a time we worked on it, and thanks to card, she was greatly helped by card. The card is the only thing we did for Siri. So thank you.
And how old was Siri when she was diagnosed, Swathi?
3.
3. And that's pretty remarkable because back then it was a little bit harder to get a diagnosis. And I know that you and I have talked that many times there are many cultures who don't understand autism, and so they tend to get diagnosed later. So for you, why do you think you were able to get Swathi, your Swathi, sorry, Siri, I keep making that mistake this morning. How do you think, was it because your husband was a doctor? Did that help you to get the diagnosis?
I don't think so. I don't think so, because he was working in emergency room, long odd hours, and he only gets what I give him, the feedback. I would always see myself as a failed mom because I could never connect with her. I would see all the other moms, they have so much fun with their kids, and here my kid, and I can't take her to the park, I cannot take her out of the house. And my husband keeps saying, what's wrong? Why is that you're not happy? You have a baby at home. And there is no way I could do anything with her. And that's how we had to get to the bottom of it. And that's how she got diagnosed at 3.
Well, that's pretty amazing by anybody's standards at that time.
Yes.
But that wasn't the end of her challenges, because Siri had some extra challenges on top of that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
School used to call me. They would say, hey, your daughter broke a table. And when I go, I cannot picture Siri doing all those things. And when I enter, I see a table and a chair just broken. And the doors are broken, and we put her in a place where it's all the other severely autistic kids were placed. And it used to look more like a jail, because once we go in, there's a surveillance camera, and then they look at you, they open the door, and the door slams behind you. And then somebody takes her inside, and then they close the door. We don't see what goes behind those doors. And that's when I thought, every day I would leave her in the school and cry on the street. I would call my husband. Of course, he's in the emergency room all the time. I would tell him that I feel so guilty to leave her there. And it was very, very painful. But then we moved her to Wings Learning Center, in Redwood City, and that's where she got the help.
Mhm.
But Siri was not this way at all, at all, at all, at all.
But Siri also had some other medical issues, did she not?
Yeah, she developed a tumor on near the pituitary gland. She was putting on a lot of weight. We were buying 3x, 4x, and then 5x. And then I told my husband we need to take her to the doctor. And my husband said, no, she's growing, she's 18 and all that, but she's not eating as much as she was putting on the weight. Then we had to take her and they did scanning on her brain. That was another whole thing. You know, you cannot tell her not to move.
Yeah.
And then they said they would give her the general anesthesia, and then we need to explain it to her what's going to happen to her. And yeah, it was a difficult journey. Now I look back, and that is the reason why I speak volumes about Siri. I want to encourage others. You know, if Siri is doing what she's doing now, a lot of other parents also can do. I am the most shy person. I don't ask questions, and you know my English is not that clear.
It
But
is, though. It is.
I don't let any of that stop me from helping my child.
Well, look, everybody's so inspired. They're writing in messages to you saying hello, saying good job and yay. Somebody says, wow, I am truly hopeful listening to all of this, inspired to the fullest. Don't forget to be proud of yourself too. Everything she is and all she has accomplished is all because of you, all because she has parents who love, care, and believe in her. You are so amazing. And somebody else said, such an inspiration. And someone else again said, you inspire us all. See, I wasn't kidding when I said she's so inspirational.
Siri made these. Siri made these.
They're gorgeous.
I'm looking for opportunities for Siri to model as an autistic person. So keep fingers crossed. Let's see what happens.
Well, Mama, I saw some pictures that you posted on Facebook the other day, and she has two of the most beautiful feet I have ever seen in my entire life.
And her fingers.
Well, her hands too. I mean, her face is beautiful too, but you know, foot modeling and hand modeling is a whole thing. So that's really remarkable. Well, I know the next time we talk, you're going to have some exciting news for us about that, because
thank you.
That's, yes, absolutely. There's no reason why she couldn't or shouldn't.
And the reason is to encourage others. That's the only thing I want to do all these things so that people will take a notice of her and then know what autism is all about.
Yeah. And you guys, before the pandemic, you guys were working on a documentary about Siri. Has the pandemic slowed that down? Yeah,
actually we had to stop that right now. But that's another thing. My Name is Siri is the documentary. And we want to show people how we came where we came from so that it will inspire others. And actually there's one interesting thing. A lot of people follow Siri on social media. So one day I asked how many of them have something to do with autism. And 99% of them said that they have nothing to do with autism. They follow her because she inspires them. And Absolutely. That was really, something.
So more things that they're writing in. Nasser says, proud mom. Somebody else said, Swathi, you're an inspiration. And then they said, Siri is a hero.
Thank you. She sure is. She is.
So let's go over where they can go to listen to the radio show again.
Telugu1radio.com. TELUGU 1radio.com. Or else you can follow my page, Autism Awareness Radio Show.
Okay. And definitely Designs by Siri, on YouTube. You want to be following that. Now, one of our other viewers who's been on the show before, who does some pretty amazing things herself, she says, who is marketing her craft, your jewelry, because she'd like to help if she can.
I get that question. I'm the only one doing, because we don't make much money. It's not for money's sake. It's just to keep her story live and encourage others. And yeah, sure, if somebody can help me.
We'll hook the two of you up. I can hear beautiful music being made already. But they're saying beautiful, that the jewelry is absolutely beautiful. And not only is there jewelry, but there's other things too. You know, I particularly loved, one year we got from you guys the wine glass gems, so that you put it around the bottom of the wine glass and it identifies whose glass is who. There are some great gifts,
Yes.
teacher gifts, you guys.
She does
And
themed work also. Themed. If you have a theme, she can make jewelry with those themes, with the
there we
charms.
go. I
Thank you.
absolutely love that. Yeah. So if you like, if there's like, for instance, a baseball team, if you guys, she can do a theme for the baseball team. So there we go.
Yes.
Really remarkable. You're such an inspiration. I'm so glad
Thank
that we had
you.
the opportunity to talk, and we can't wait to hear what the next chapter is for Siri, and to hear all the things that you're doing. And then hopefully this pandemic will end and you'll get to finish the documentary, because I know that we're all
Yes.
looking forward to that.
Thank you.
Well, give our best to your whole family who we adore, and I'm sending you a hug, a virtual hug.
Same here. Thank you so much.
All right. You take care. And of course, say hi to Siri for us, okay?
She's still sleeping though. So when she wakes up,
It's those young people. My kid is still asleep too.
good for them.
Yes, must be nice, right? All right.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Swathi, for being with us. You take
Thank you,
care.
Shannon. Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. I want to take just a couple of minutes here as we finish out the show to tell you guys about tomorrow. Now, tomorrow we're having Evelyn Kung on the show to answer your questions. So if you have questions, please feel free to write those in. You can write them in tonight, because I put together a bunch of questions beforehand. The thing, we were having a little bit of difficulty. We're having all these electrical issues. And of course, you know, my question for the universe is that Joanne Laura talking to us, because when my mother passed, we had a bunch of electrical issues too. And so Joanne, if it's you, we're listening. You can stop messing with my electrical. But here is the thing. And then that made me forget exactly what I was talking. Oh, I know, we were having trouble with our live feature. So all the questions that you guys were writing in, I now have, and we're going to start to address those at the top of the show tomorrow with Evelyn Kung. But I'm also looking for more questions if you guys want to write in questions. And then on Thursday, we're having Bonnie Yates. Normally we have her on Monday, but we're having her on Thursday to answer your questions. If you have questions for her of a legal nature, I really need those today to send them off to her today. So if you're got something going on about school and legal, send those off to me right now. And then on Friday, I'm really excited about this on the show. Nancy won't be with us on Friday, but that's okay. We're going on with the show. And Cindy Kenya will be with us. She's an amazing actress and an autism advocate, and she teaches acting at the Will Gear Theatricum Botanicum. And so we're going to be talking with her about the classes that they're offering online this summer, which, you know, we're going to talk a little bit more about the different things that are available online this summer, including the Will Gear Theatricum Botanicum. It's not a one size fits all, right? But I have to tell you, I did a presentation last night about the different things that are available, and there's something for everyone. And this summer, you know, all these things have happened with COVID that are not great, that are undeniable. And I'm not trying to, you know, put lipstick on a pig here, but there's always a silver lining in every cloud, right? And the one thing that's available this summer that has never been available before, and I don't know if it'll ever be available again, is all the things that are out there, the resources that have been very location centric, they're all online this summer. So, you know, you may have been going, oh, I really wished I could have had my kid take a class with, you know, the Miracle Project, but you know, I don't live in Los Angeles. Well, they're online. So you can this summer. If, you know, I really wanted my son to take a class at the Theatricum Botanicum, but you have to drive all the way up this mountain, and I can't do it every day. I don't have the time, and it freaks me out too much to get there. They're online this summer. So what is it that you wanted to do with your kiddo and you couldn't because you didn't live there? Look them up, and they probably are online. And we're going to talk about what some of those different things are. Or is there a museum that you wanted to take your kid to and you never could because you couldn't afford it, and you couldn't afford the hotel and the airfare and the whatever? they had virtual tours online at almost all museums this summer. I'm telling you, and a lot of it, I won't say a lot of it, some of it is free. Some of it is free. Enough of it is free to make it exciting enough to look it up. And we're going to talk about some of those things on Friday, but we're having Cindy Kenya here to talk about, not here, but from, on the show, zooming in to talk about the Wilgear Theatricum Botanicum, which is absolutely beautiful. And if you are ever in Los Angeles, it's worth it to drive up the mountain every once in a while to go see a performance or to just tour the facility. At one point, my husband and I talked about getting married there, but it was too far up the mountain. I'm not good about driving up and down a mountain, but it's worth it to go up there at least a couple of times. And now you can do the classes online, which is like unbelievably fabulous. So we're going to talk about all of that and more on Friday. And always, we love to take your questions, your concerns, whatever you guys have going on. So I thank you guys all for being here. And thanks for bearing with us as we got started a little bit late because we were having some tech issues, and hopefully Traven's getting to take a breather now. But we're out of time. We will be back tomorrow with Ask Evelyn Kung. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me and one for you too. Bye-bye for now.